1938. A Russian fortune teller looked at a pregnant woman's hand. Your daughter will be very beautiful, but dark water will take her. 1981. Natalie Wood drowned in dark water at midnight. A prophecy spoken 43 years earlier came true. Coincidence or fate? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications, because this is the story of how a prophecy became reality, how a mother's words killed her daughter, and the secret Hollywood has been hiding for 40 years. San Francisco, 1938. Maria Zakharenko was pregnant. She just immigrated from Russia, a woman full of superstitions. Her husband was unemployed, no money, uncertain future. There was an old Russian fortune teller in the neighborhood. Maria went to see her. A small dark room, candles burning. The fortune teller took Maria's hand, closed her eyes. Long silence. Then she opened her eyes and spoke slowly. You'll have a daughter, very beautiful. She'll be famous. But be careful, Maria. Dark water, night, cold. It will take your daughter. Maria's hand trembled. When? How? The fortune teller shook her head. I don't know, but it will happen. Water is waiting for her. Maria went home and told her husband. He said, nonsense. Fortune tellers always sell fear. But Maria couldn't forget. On July 20th, 1938, Natalie was born. She really was beautiful. Black hair, big brown eyes. Maria held her but wasn't happy. She was afraid. I'll protect you. Water won't touch you. As Natalie grew, Maria kept her away from water. Other kids went to the beach. Natalie didn't. Swimming lessons started at school, Maria said. My daughter is sick. Even baths at home were short. Natalie didn't understand why Mom was so paranoid about water, but she couldn't ask. Maria was strict. Don't ask questions. Just listen. But what Maria didn't know was that she'd planted fear in her daughter, and that fear would one day actually kill her. 1943. Natalie was 5. Maria said, my daughter is beautiful. I'll take her to the movies. They went to castings. Directors were amazed. This child has natural talent. She got her first role. In 1947, she became famous with Miracle on 34th Street, a star at 9 years old. But Maria became even more controlling. Be perfect. Don't cry. Don't complain. You're a star. One day on set, they were filming a water scene, a pool scene. Simple. The director said, ready, Natalie? Natalie looked at the pool and froze. No, I can't go in. The director said, why? It's just a pool. Natalie cried. Water is bad. It'll kill me. The set was shocked. Maria ran over. Okay, we'll use a double. From that day on, Natalie never filmed any water scenes herself. Always a double. In the 1950s, Natalie became a young woman. Her beauty was incredible. Hollywood called her the princess. But Natalie wasn't happy. The water fear never went away. Friends said, learn to swim, Natalie said. No, never. She started therapy. Asked the psychiatrist, why am I afraid of water? The psychiatrist said there must have been childhood trauma. Natalie thought. No drowning, no accident, just her mother's words. Water is dangerous. Water will kill you, the psychiatrist said. Your mother planted fear in you. There's no real trauma, Natalie said, but the fear is very real. 1955. Natalie was 17, filming Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean. Dean was 24, talented, rebellious. They talked behind the scenes. Dean said, you're different, Natalie, not fake like the others. For weeks, they worked together. A special bond formed. One evening, Dean took her to the Los Angeles hills. They watched the city. Dean said, Natalie, you're special. Don't forget that. Natalie's eyes welled up. No one had ever talked to her like that. The film ended. September 30th, 1955. James Dean died in a car accident. Porsche 550, Spider, 100 miles an hour, head-on collision, 24 years old. When Natalie heard the news, she collapsed, cried for days. Told her mother, I loved him. Maria said, forget him. Natalie said, I can never forget. But what Natalie didn't know was that the real tragedy hadn't come yet, and the prophecy was waiting for her. 1960. Natalie was filming Splendor in the Grass. Director Elia Kazan demanded real emotion from actors. There was a scene, Natalie's character throws herself in a river. When Natalie read the script, she froze. I can't film this. There's water. Kazan said, You will. Natalie said, But I have a water phobia. Kazan yelled. You're an actress. You'll do it or I'm firing you, Natalie cried. Please, let's use a double. Kazan said, No double. Filming day came. Natalie stood by the river, shaking. Kazan yelled, Jump. Natalie looked at the water, dark, deep, terrifying. Kazan said, Jump or your career is over. Natalie jumped, fell into the water, panicked, screamed. The rescue team pulled her out. She almost drowned. Kazan said, Perfect, let's shoot it again. They shot it 3 times. After that day, Natalie's water fear got even worse. She had drowning nightmares every night. Same dream, dark water, can't breathe, no one's saving her. She's dying. 1957. Natalie met actor Robert Wagner. They married in December. Hollywood called them the most beautiful couple. But the marriage wasn't happy. Wagner was jealous. Natalie's career was more successful than his. Everyone talks about you. What am I, he'd say. Wagner started being controlling. Interfered with what Natalie wore, which films she'd be in. Didn't want her seeing friends. You're my wife. You can't do anything without my permission, he'd say. Natalie had told friends something. If anything happens to me, look at Robert. 1962, they divorced. Natalie married someone else, had a daughter, Natasha, but that marriage fell apart too. 1972, Wagner and Natalie remarried. This time it'll be different, they said. But it wasn't. Wagner was still jealous, still controlling. Natalie told friends, Sometimes I'm afraid of him. When he gets angry, he becomes someone else. 1981. Natalie was filming Brainstorm with Christopher Walken. Wagner went into a jealousy crisis. You spend too much time with him, he'd say. Natalie said, It's my job. Wagner said, Or something else? The arguments got worse every day. Natalie called a friend, I'm afraid of Wagner. He's so jealous. If anything happens to me, look at him. In November 1981, Wagner made a decision. They'd go on a boat trip, and he'd invite Walken. November 28th, 1981. Wagner said, Let's go to Santa Catalina Island by boat. Natalie said, I don't want to. You know my water fear, Wagner said. I'm inviting Walken too. That way I'll see if there's something between you. Natalie said, That's ridiculous, but okay. The boat was named Splendor. Ironic. The name of Natalie's successful film. The boat captain was Dennis Davern. Wagner, Natalie, Walken, and Davern on the boat. Evening, they ate dinner, drank wine. At first, everything was normal. Then Wagner started drinking heavily. He looked at Walken. You're too close to my wife. Walken said, We're working, Robert. It's our job. Wagner got angry. Liar! Voices rose. Natalie intervened. Please, don't fight. Wagner turned to her. You're guilty too. You're cheating on me, Natalie said. You're insane. Wagner slammed the bottle on the table. It broke. Natalie cried and went to the cabin. 11 p.m. Wagner went to Natalie's room. Sounds came from inside. Yelling, crying. Davern wondered what was happening but didn't interfere. 15 minutes later, Wagner came out, his face red, angry. Close to midnight, Davern was on deck. Suddenly a sound. Something fell in the water. Davern ran. The small dinghy had separated from the boat. Where's Natalie? They searched. Natalie wasn't there. Not in the dinghy either. Wagner said, She fell in the water! But Wagner didn't do anything. Didn't call the Coast Guard. Waited. Why? Davern said, We need to call immediately. Wagner said, No, wait. Don't make a scandal. We'll call in the morning. Davern was shocked. But the woman's in the water. Wagner said, I decide. Wait. Walken didn't come out of his cabin. 1:30 a.m. Wagner finally called the Coast Guard. My wife is missing. Coast Guard asked, when? Wagner said, I don't know, maybe midnight. Why are you calling now? Wagner said, I was sleeping. 7:44 a.m. A helicopter spotted Natalie's body near Santa Catalina Island, shore, in the cold Pacific waters, wearing a red jacket, drowned, dead. Los Angeles police opened an investigation. They questioned Wagner. First statement, Natalie fell in the water by accident. She was trying to tie up the dinghy. I was sleeping. Second statement, actually, I don't really know what happened. I was drunk. Third statement, years later, maybe Natalie committed suicide. She was depressed. There were bruises on Natalie's body. Left arm, right leg, scratches on her face. Police asked, where did these bruises come from? Wagner said, I don't know, maybe she hit something falling off the boat, but there were no bruises on the outside of the boat, only on the body. 2011, Davern wrote a book, Goodbye Natalie, Goodbye Splendor. In his book, Davern wrote, Wagner fought with Natalie, physically. The bruises came from him. Then Natalie fell in the water. Wagner didn't want to call. Said, it'll be a scandal. I was scared. Stayed silent for 30 years. The investigation 30 years later, 2011, Los Angeles. Police reopened the case. They questioned Walken again. What did you see that night? Walken said, nothing. I was in my cabin, police said, but there was a fight. Walken said, I didn't hear anything, and I won't talk about this subject again. 2012. Forensic experts re-examined the original autopsy reports. Result: the bruises formed before she fell in the water. She may have experienced physical violence. The death should be reclassified from accident to suspicious death. 2013. Wagner was named a person of interest, but wasn't arrested. 2018. Davern gave another interview. Wagner pushed Natalie into the water. I saw it. Then he told me, be quiet. I was scared for 30 years. But still, no arrest. No trial. In his book, Davern wrote, Wagner fought with Natalie, physically. The bruises came from him. Then Natalie fell in the water. Wagner didn't want to call. Said, it'll be a scandal. I was scared. Stayed silent. Carried this secret for 30 years. I have to speak now. The book was published in 2009. Media explosion. 2011. Los Angeles police reopened the case. They questioned Walken again. What did you see that night? Walken said nothing. I was in my cabin, sleeping. Police said, but there was a fight. Didn't you hear it? Walken said no. Police said Natalie fell in the water. Didn't you hear that? Walken said, no, I didn't hear anything. Police said, you've been saying the same thing for 40 years. Did you really not see anything? Walken said, yes, and I won't talk about this subject again. 2012. Forensic experts re-examined the original 1981 autopsy reports. Result: the bruises on the body formed before she fell in the water. She may have experienced physical violence. The death should be reclassified from accident to suspicious death. 2013. Wagner was named a person of interest, but wasn't arrested. His lawyers said, our client is innocent. There's no evidence. 2018. Davern gave another interview. Wagner pushed Natalie into the water. I saw it. Then he told me, be quiet. It'll be a scandal. I was scared. Scared for 30 years. Police asked, why are you speaking now? Davern said, because I'm getting old. Before I die, the truth should be known. 2024. Wagner is still alive, 94 years old, never arrested, never spoke. Walken doesn't speak either. I'll never talk about that night, he says. The case is still open, but no result. Natalie Wood died at 43, November 29th, 1981, midnight. Dark water, cold Pacific. What did the fortune teller say in 1938? Dark water will take her. 43 years later, the prophecy came true. Coincidence? Fate? Or did Maria plant fear in her daughter? That fear followed Natalie for 43 years and finally became real. Natalie Wood's story isn't just tragedy, it's a prophecy story. How a mother's superstition determined her daughter's life. How that fear imprisoned her for 43 years. Natalie ran from water, but water found her. The prophecy's inevitable end. Maybe the biggest mystery is this: did the prophecy come true because it was spoken, or was it spoken because it was going to come true? Nobody knows. But one thing is certain: Natalie Wood was afraid of water, and water killed her. The prophecy spoken 43 years earlier came true exactly. Dark water, night, cold. Natalie Wood.